many years ago, one of the things that I realized is that I need employees. That's just something that I realized. I came to the thing. I need employees. So I went on Craigslist and I found this employee named Evie. And he was amazing. Amazing. He was an incredible, a dude, a guy named Evie, and he was amazing. He was an unbelievable employee. He knew video editing and web design and programming. He literally knew everything. And he was just such a great guy. He was a writer. He literally was everything that I needed in an employee. And then I said, one day I'm going to clone you. Father of five. Yep. Live in Brooklyn, raised and grazed, as they say, raised and grazed in Crooklyn. Raised and grazed, baby. So we're gonna be doing. It can be. It should be a rap song. By the way, I'm on LinkedIn Live very, very often. I don't know if you know this, but we're on LinkedIn Live right now. We're on YouTube Live. We're on everything live. I'm always on live. Always on live. I don't know if anybody's watching. It doesn't matter, but I'm always on live. So that's kind of like how I roll with people. If that's okay with you. If you need me not to be on live, I won't be on live. But yeah, amazing. Perfect, perfect. But if it doesn't work, amazing. But I want people to see the behind the scenes sometimes and the conversations. And so if anybody wants to watch the behind the scenes, then I'm just letting you know we happen to be on live.
Where'd you go to uni?
I actually didn't go to university. I learned to become a rabbi.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my parents sent me to become a rabbi in Israel.
I'm echoing now.
Are you echoing? Okay, 'cause I turned on the mix minus. Now I'm going to turn off the X mix minus. Is that better? Okay. There's a lot of things that people don't know about me. I'm very private. I'm a Scorpio. Oh, okay. My English was not my first language. Yeah, could you imagine? I used to not speak any English at all when I was five. Five, six, seven. Yeah, I didn't speak any English. Spanish. Yeah. Like I saw that face you made. No, I'm Hispanic. I'm Hispanic. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. No, people don't know. People have no idea. People have no idea. There's a lot of things about me that people don't know. Like it's serious, seriously. Like people don't know, and I kind of like it that way. I like privacy. You know what I mean? No, you could out me. You could out me. You could say anything. Look, I have no. I'm a private person, but if somebody asks me questions, I'll answer honestly. I know it's not common. It's really not common. And they say common sense is not common practice too. Amazing. No. Mm. Okay. Yeah. No. Totally. No. Absolutely not. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. 100%. Okay, amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here live, having the time of my life, podcasting. Podcasting while networking on LinkedIn. I don't know if you guys could hear my audio, but let me know if you can hear my audio. Ooh, I need to create a poll. I'm going to create a poll right now. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I'm doing fantastic. I'm actually really excited about being on the show right now because it's not often that I get someone with your caliber to put me on their podcast. I get on a lot of podcasts, but often I don't get on the podcast with the people that have your level of expertise and caliber. And I love that you're doing EOS, and that you're the like running that is such an important thing. I'm a very big fan of systems and processes. So thanks for having me on the show. I'm really excited to be here. Okay, okay. Exactly. It's crazy. Well, it actually didn't just catch fire, and I didn't just stumble into anything. I had to struggle and work. When I was a teenager, I went to my mother and I said, "Ma, you guys sent me to Jewish school to learn to become a rabbi. And I know all the rabbis I know are struggling financially. I don't want to struggle financially. I really don't want to struggle financially. I want to be very successful. I want to be the type of person that can give a lot of charity, that can make a difference for people. I don't want to struggle like I'm watching you guys struggle and like I'm watching a lot of other people in our family struggle. I don't want to keep that generational trauma going with financial struggles. I want to shift it." And my mother looks at me and I was like, and I started crying because she looked at me like, "What do you want from me?" And I started crying. I was like, "I don't want to suffer." And so she said, "Stop crying. Grown men don't cry." And then she's like, hop into my car. I went with her in the station wagon. We had an old used station wagon. My father always bought used cars. We got into an old used station wagon and we went to the library. And she said, go in there and get whatever books you want. Because she couldn't afford to pay for college. College wasn't an option. She said formal education, and she said this in Spanish using much more simple language, but this was the message that she sent me. She said formal education will make you a living, but self education will make you a fortune. That's the message she gave me. So there were a lot of things that I didn't want to take from my mother, like, for example, grown men don't cry. Like, I thought that that was the truth, but the truth is it's healthy for men to cry. So there are things that I learned that I had to kind of like say, okay, these are the things that I'm going to take from my mother, which formal education will make you a living, self education will make you a fortune. Like those types of things, like, wow, that belongs in my book. But only self reflecting 20, 30 years later can I say that was wise, because back then I would have thought to myself, how could you possibly learn all these things yourself to become a multimillionaire? How could you possibly be able to make an impact for people by learning on your own? Don't you have to go to the teachers and colleges? Now I look at the teachers in colleges and they're not making a lot of money and they're not really successful themselves. So like what are we doing over here? And AI gives you all the knowledge you possibly need. So like what's college for? Just to get drunk and have promiscuous, like, let's not get into that. But the idea is the idea is just enjoying, just enjoy. So I walked into the library and I took out books on, I went straight to the computer section even though I didn't have a computer then. So growing up, my parents could not afford to buy me a computer. The best thing to a computer they got me was a typewriter. And so I used to clickety clack on the typewriter and have fun with it. And then they got me a Nintendo 8-bit. When the Nintendo 64 came out, they got me an 8-bit. Which was a much earlier version of Mario Brothers, and it sounded something like doo 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 doo. By the way, if you guys are watching this later, yeah. I was great at it. Anyway, so I walked in there and I learned how to build computers and websites, even though I didn't have a computer. Eventually, I walked over to my mom and I was like, I really want a computer. And she's like, we can't afford to buy you one. I said, what if I pay half and you pay half? Because I've been selling sandwiches in school and I have a couple $100. So she said, okay, you pay half, I'll pay half. We went to a store that's now not in business anymore called J&R Music and Computer World in Lower Manhattan. And we bought a compact Presario computer. That's when Windows 98 hasn't come out yet, but Windows 95, if you buy it now, you get the automatic upgrade to Windows 98 when it comes out, or Windows 97 when it comes out, or whatever it was. Anyway, we got it. It had a 33.6K modem. And my friend heard about this and he's like, holy crap, the fastest modem I've ever used was 14.4, 14K. And so he came so he came to my house because he had to download some MP3s, and he got into a fight with my sister because my sister was trying to date. She was 19. She was trying to get married, so she was trying to date on the phone with this guy, and it just he had to fight with her because she wanted to use the phone, but he wanted to use the phone to be able to get dial up to download his MP3. So I remember that argument they had over there. He's like, "Listen, I just need 20 minutes to download the MP3." Because in my house it takes me 2 hours. Yeah, no, people have no idea that I just whoop out some Spanish, and they're like, "Oh my God, your parents are from South America." I had no idea there were Jews in South America. I was like, "Where do you think they went when they were almost exterminated in Germany? Where do you think the Jews, when America turned back a boat with tens of thousands of Jewish people that were trying to get into America, and they said, 'We don't want you, go back to Germany,' and they sent them back, and then they killed them there. Why did they? Where was the option? The only option was Brazil, Argentina, Venezuela. Like those are the countries that were taking the Jews in, and that's kind of like where half of my family went from. And the same thing when they were kicked out of Syria, my great grandparents from the Middle East, they had to go somewhere, so they also went to Argentina. That's kind of like where my parents met. The crazy thing is that these days with artificial intelligence, you can speak any language. Our AI that we have right now works in like dozens of languages, and we have clients in 37 countries around the world that don't even speak English that are using our artificial intelligence. That's insane. Instantly. In my phone, I have an AI phone. Yeah. Oh my God. Wow. Yeah. 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 Oh, really? Well, 100%. You get a little bit better each day. That's the key. I think that artificial intelligence will empower some people and it will change the culture for some people. Think about it this way. Before you use GPS, do you remember having to know directions to things? So 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 let me ask you a question. Do you ever not use GPS when you're going to places that you are new places? Do you ever just try to figure it out? Most people would say, "No, I always use GPS, and if your phone is off, you're not going anywhere." I still practice trying to figure it out to be able to keep that muscle memory going. So I will and then I'll turn on the GPS when I'm lost. I'll wait till I get lost and then I'll turn on the GPS. I went to Los Angeles recently. I've been to Los Angeles. I lived in Los Angeles for like a whole year, trying to do the rabbi thing at some point in my life. Worked for a company. I did kind of like the rabbi tech thing. Worked for a company called AskMoses.com back in. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, so I wasn't really interested in that, and I was kind of like just like doing it because my parents wanted me to do it, but it wasn't something that I was actually interested in. I was interested in business and technology, not really in the whole rabbi thing. But because I kind of jumped into it and, I learned it and I knew I kind of was in that world. Those are the opportunities that I had. I didn't know how to network. I didn't know how to build relationships. I didn't know that networking was even a word that existed in the li- in the world. Like, you know that most people don't know that networking is a thing? Most human beings are afraid of the concept called networking, which is walking over to strangers and having whatever. But most people don't even know that there's a concept where people meet on a regular basis and exchange leads and build relationships and get to know each other. They don't understand that. They don't even understand that that's even a thing. BNI, it's a global organization with people that network with each other. Out of the 8 billion people in the world, there's only 300,000 that are part of BNI. It's still big. Out of the 8 billion people in the world, only a billion are on LinkedIn. People don't even know it's a thing. I didn't know it was a thing. I had no idea. So I was kind of like in that world. So when I went to California recently, I just drove around like it was 2001 when I was there back in the day and I lived there and I remembered the streets. I remembered the intersections. And I didn't use GPS, but there was a time where I got lost and I was like, I don't want to get into the wrong barrio. You know what a barrio is. You don't want to get into the wrong neighborhood. And then you get totally screwed and you're like, oh my God, I should not have landed here. My car doesn't have wheels anymore. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Yeah. 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 You got bloom growth. You got, yeah, exactly. You got your book. You got your stuff. There's so much going on. Wow. Yeah. It's crazy. I'm always looking I'm always looking to solve problems. If I'm on Facebook, like for example, someone recently came over to me and said, "Joe, could you do me a favor? Could you do me a favor and make me a list of my friends on Facebook?" And I was like, "How am I supposed to make you a list of your friends on Facebook?" I was like, "Go to AI and figure out how to take all my friends and put them into a spreadsheet." And I was like, "That I can do." So I went to AI talking about solutions and I said, build me an extension. You know what a Google Chrome extension is? Obviously, if you're using AI, you know. Build me an extension that will go to any of my friends on Facebook and take all of their friends and put it into a spreadsheet in 3 seconds. And so I built the extension. I literally built it. You click on the Facebook friends counter, it counts how many friends are on a page. You press download CSV, it asks you where you want to download it, and boom, you have all your friends done just like that. And I open it up and I'm like, holy crap, all of the friends are there. And not only that, it also tells you how many mutual connections you have. So I can reach out to all your friends on Facebook and I could identify how many mutual connections we have. So I can create a custom message to you, to all of your friends saying, hey, I noticed I was just on Trent's podcast. I noticed that we have 23 mutual connections besides Trent. I'm curious to know, have you heard his podcast before or have you seen my episode of the podcast that I just was on Trent? I can send a message to each one of your Facebook connections saying that and then connecting with them because I have it systematically on a spreadsheet and I could use AI to create each custom message for each person based on who they even are because I have all their information. That's personalization to the next level. And that's so you're 100% right. I'm looking to solve problems for people because I watched my mother go out of business by trying to get lucky. A lot of people are trying to get lucky, especially when they're on a cruise. People are trying people are trying to get lucky. And luck is a wonderful thing, but if you try to get lucky, it's like you're trying to get rich quick or you're trying to lose weight fast. That doesn't really last. What you need to do instead, and what I learned for myself is you need to be strategic. You need to have a strategy. I know you're super into personal development. Tony Robbins, I don't know if you ever went to Unleash the Power Within. Totally worth going. I recommend you go in person. Put it on your list of places and things to do before he dies, because eventually everybody dies. But it's an experience where you have 10,000 to 20,000 people in a room, and it's personal development on steroids for 50 hours. He changes the ambiance. It's worth going there just to experience that joy. I did it 3 times, and every single time I did it, I loved it more and more and more and more. Have you ever done landmark education? I did it 3 times because I enjoy it so much. I do it for fun. I don't even take notes. The first time I went there is to take notes. The third time I went there is just to be there and be present and experience the people and just like be one with personal development and let it you become personal development. That's what it's about. You become personal growth. Jim Rohn said you can only grow your business as much as you grow yourself. So I learned that. I didn't know that when I was a teenager, but I always knew that I was hungry for more. And I always thought that if I got better skills, I would have more value to the marketplace. And now I know it's not so much about my skills, it's more about the impact that I make in other people's lives. And perception is reality. Reality doesn't exist outside of perception. I was telling someone this today, something that I learned with sales and with personal development and like literally the way you perceive the world is the way the world is created. The way that your thoughts are thought is the way that your thoughts are formed because if you're thinking positive thoughts, you are vibrating positive energy into the world. If you're saying positive things, even if those positive things are lies right now, that's not a lie because it's what you said is the truth because that's what you said in the moment. What you said is the truth. Anything you say in the moment is the truth because only now exists. So just because something hasn't happened before, it doesn't mean you can't claim it right now in the moment. So if you announce that you're retired, even if you're going to work in 10 years from now, it doesn't mean that you're not retired right now. So I want people to really get the concept that I've learned that perception is reality. And if you want to be a winner, you got to declare that you're a winner. And you got to commit to finding a way no matter what, because the word impossible is really 2 words. And this is a famous cliche, I'm possible. But people don't realize what really is possible once they are able to create. So I went from being a person who had no tech knowledge to trying to figure it out and buying a computer, becoming really proficient at building websites by hand. HTML, CSS, JavaScript. I'm not a developer. I was a web designer. That means I would hack things together. I wasn't very good at it. And I had to bust my head for thousands of hours trying to figure out how the website didn't work and why didn't it work and why the iframe wasn't working. And I don't even know what's going on here. And this is not development. This is web design. It's different. You're basically just putting tags together. And that knowledge is giving me so much power today because today I tell the AI what to do, but I know what to tell it what to do. And it builds me custom applications in seconds like a tool that will automatically pull everything from Facebook, that will pull things from LinkedIn, that will be able to do outreach, that will record my voice and turn it into whatever I wanted to turn it into, that will find images. And like, there's so many powerful things that I could do now with AI because I learned those skills. So those skills had power, but those skills weren't what made me money. What made me money was listening to my clients and solving real problems. So I built a lot of websites for people. I started doing it for free. People started paying me. People were paying me $1,000 to $2,000 per website, and I would do 50 to 100 a year. I'd make six figures. I'm in my early 20s. I wanted to buy a house. Right when I got married, I told my now ex-wife, I said, listen, we're going to buy a house in the next year. And she's like, you're crazy. It's impossible. All I did was drive around and look for houses for sale. That's what I did. And she would get upset because if we would go on a date, what I would be doing on the way to the date was circling the neighborhood, and she would get really annoyed at me. And she's like, stop this BS. I was like, no, I am going to buy a house. She's like, you don't even have money. I would make $100,000 a year, and I would have tens of thousands of dollars in savings, but I found a way to buy a three-family brownstone. I found a way to buy a three-family brownstone in Crown Heights for $570,000. A brownstone in Crown Heights for $570,000 in 2020 in 2004, which was a ridiculous amount of money. They wanted $750,000. I said I can't do that, and then we said, but I'll inspect it. And based on the inspection, we ended up lowering the price significantly. And they gave me something called a seller's concession that allowed me to be able to get enough money to pay part of the down payment based on the seller concession or whatever. Then I got two separate loans. I got a jumbo loan and I got another loan. And I got two tenants that lived on the second floor and on the third floor to pay most of the mortgage, which I couldn't pay anyway because I was paying $600 a month for a one-bedroom apartment with my. We didn't have money. She made minimum wage. I was doing some web design, but I didn't really have money. And so I made it work. The house is now worth $2.5 million. During my divorce, I gave it to my ex, so she's made. So she has enough money to live for the rest of her life just off that house because she lives on 2 floors and has a tenant. But the key of what I want to say is I found a way. I found a way to become a real estate investor, even though I had no money. I didn't have the ability to do it. I had enough for part of the down payment, but I needed another $40,000 to make the house work because it was a mess. So I found a way to make it work. One of the things that listening to my clients was, Trent, my clients came over to me and said, Joe, you told me a website. You built it for me. It's nice. It's decent. It has some flash animations and everything. But nobody's coming to my website. You said if you build it, they will come. I said I read it in a book. It said if you build it, they will come. The name of the book was If You Build It, They Will Come. And I loved it. And I love saying if you build it, they will come. And I wanted to make everybody come to your website, but I didn't know how to make people I didn't know how to make people come to your website. I didn't know what to do. So I had to learn. How do you make them come to your website? I learned exactly the process of doing it called SEO. I started reading a blog by Aaron Wall, and I started looking into the chief spam engineer, the chief SEO engineer for Google named Matt Cutts. Have you ever heard of the name Matt Cutts? Mattcut? So he was the guy that worked for Google, and he would have a blog, and he would share all the secrets of how to rank on Google. And he worked for Google. And I became beyond obsessed with it. I became so obsessed. I spent thousands of hours learning SEO, and I got so good that I would be able to make any website number one within 2 weeks on any keyword anywhere. And so people would come by the droves, and they would say, Joe, I want to pay you. But they wouldn't just pay me. They wouldn't just pay me $1,000. They would pay me $1,000 a month. And so now I didn't know what to do. So I found a partner. We did this together. And before we know it, we had hundreds of customers paying us thousands of dollars a month. So we built one of the fastest. That was the forming of Ajax Union. It started, and people were crazy. People thought I was crazy because 2008 happened. And that's when I came up with the idea. And I said, I'm going to quit my job. And I went over to the CMO of the company. We were going to, I didn't know that I was going to be fired because I wasn't going to be fired because I was driving $5 million of revenue to the watch company that I worked with. So I was driving in more revenue than the entire sales team. I had 200 people working for me at that point, and I had a very nice job. And the only reason I took the job is because I had a stillbirth early on in the marriage, and I felt very depressed, and I didn't want to work anymore, and I didn't want to build websites anymore, and I was really struggling. And so somebody said, can you help me with something? And I said, whatever. And my ex-wife at that point said, if you don't take the job and you're just sitting around moping around the house, we're getting divorced. And so I said, okay, I'll take the job. I should have gotten divorced then, but I'm glad I had 5 kids. But I'm really glad that I had 5 kids and I made it work till the point where it didn't work anymore. But bottom line is, I ended up taking a job, and that job really opened me up again and helped me help people. And it was on 65 Wall Street in Manhattan, and it was so good. But I was doing all types of fancy things and traveling, and I was learning about the corporate world and about real businesses because I was in my little place in Brooklyn. I didn't know what real business was. I didn't know what networking was. I was fixing computers for people. I would buy things on Craigslist, fix them, and sell them on eBay. That's what I would do to make money. I had 7 side hustles besides my full-time job. I had 7 separate side hustles. So when I started Ajax Union, I found a business partner through one of my side hustles, and he said, "Joe, there's one thing I need you to do. If we're going to do this together, I need you to do one thing. I need you to get rid of your construction company. I need you to get rid of your voice IP company. I need you to get rid of your web design company. I need you to get rid of your real estate company. I need you to get rid of everything and just focus with me on this one business." He said, "Because where focus goes, energy flows. And if you could focus with me, we're going to build a multi-million-dollar business." And together, we built one of the fastest growing companies in America. I had to cut all my losses with every single thing else that was making me tens of thousands of dollars a year to make millions a year. That was crazy. That was crazy because I had a good 6-figure salary from a very successful company. I had a sukkah business. I was doing construction, building sukkahs. You know what a sukkah is, Trent? It's a little shack that Jews build outside their house for 7 days. So we go eat outside of our house for 7 days during the holiday of Sukkot. It's called a sukkah. So I would assemble it for people. I would charge 175 up, 175 down, and I had 3 crews and 400 people I would build sukkahs for. So I was hustling. 3 weeks, it was crazy. No. People stored it themselves. They just didn't know how to put it together, or they were too rich or too lazy to do it themselves. So I would come and assemble them. I wouldn't even store it for them. I would just assemble it. I'm sukkah assembly, and I would knock on doors, and I would say, "Ding dong, hey, I know you have a sukkah. I know it's really hard to put together, but I have a bunch of guys that are willing to do it for nothing. Just pay me the 175. I'll make sure it all gets done." They're like, "That's it? 175? You'll get it all done?" "Done. I know your husband's gonna do it last minute. I know you're gonna get annoyed. He's paying for it anyway. Let's do it." And then boom, they would say, "Do it." And then I would just go to the back yard with 4 suckers, and in 15 minutes, the whole sukkah would be up. And then we would move on to the next thing, and we would move on to the next one, and we'd move on to, and I built a little database in Access. You know what Access is? It was, and I built a little form that I would fill out, and people would call nonstop because I put flyers on every tree, and the Department of Sanitation got really upset at me. And I was dealing with so many issues. People were calling, "How dare you staple a tree? Don't you know it hurts the tree? The tree's being hurt. You're hurting the trees." I was like, "The tree's not hurt. I'll use Scotch tape next time. Sorry." That was guerrilla marketing. Right. Yeah. 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 A 100%. Yeah. Our hearts and our minds will move our body into the actions that we're going to take. And when we take all the right actions, actions is what create results. People don't realize this. People think, "Oh, results, they come from whatever." No, results don't come from whatever. Results come from consistently taking the right actions. If you're on Facebook, for example, or LinkedIn or any other platform, and you're purposely leaving comments strategically on people's posts, you're literally leaving comments on people's posts. That is action. That is action. That is massive action. Most people are not willing to leave any comments on anybody's posts. And so I built a piece of technology that helps people to be able to take massive action. There are 3 or 4 things that each person should do every day, depending on how many followers they have. If you don't have a lot of followers or connections, there are 4 things you need to do. If you have a lot, there are 3 things. The 4 things you need to do is A, you need to build your network by connecting with more people. That's number one if you don't have a lot of followers. But if you have a lot of followers, this is what you need to be doing. You need to be posting for exposure. You need to be engaging for credibility, and you need to DM to really book relationships and book meetings. To build relationships and book meetings, you need to be sending direct messages. Most people, when I ask them how many DMs have you sent in the past day, they say, I only reply to DMs, and most of them are spammers of me telling them to stop spamming me. Why are you not proactively sending out 10 DMs every single day? Why are you not proactively reaching out to 20 new people that are your ideal prospects or centers of influence? Why are you not commenting on at least 5 of my posts every single day? Why are you not posting once a day on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube? Artificial intelligence levels the playing field that within seconds you can create something in your voice that actually has value. I launched my 3rd LinkedIn newsletter. Trent, do you know what a LinkedIn newsletter is? Most people don't know what it is, but it's the ability to start a newsletter within LinkedIn that when you write the article, it sends an email to all the subscribers of the newsletter. And I showed my AI Circle members. I have something called an AI Circle. If you go to evergreen.com/AI Circle, that's EVYRGREEN.com/AI Circle. I have a 3-hour class anybody could watch there for free. And if you like it, I give you 40 hours of the same thing live every single year. So you meet me for 3 hours, and I coach you and train you on how to use artificial intelligence to be able to generate business. I showed the people there how I use Grok 3, the latest and greatest assistant. It's the fastest, best assistant on the market right now that came out last week, Grok 3. I showed them how I created an image that's 300 by 300 for the newsletter. Then I used ChatGPT 3.0, which is the most reasoning AI out there. Within a few seconds, I wrote the entire newsletter. And then I used Evie AI to create a post about it, and 2,000 people subscribed to it in 10 hours. Go look on LinkedIn, you'll see it. It's called Advanced LinkedIn Tips. And I'm going to be updating it every single week, and we're going to get up to 10,000 subscribers in the next 3 months just by existing, because LinkedIn is the one inviting the email subscribers to join. So it's email, article, which is SEO, plus post in one. And every person can have up to 5 of these. So I have this program, I have the bundle, which you have, and I do training on how to be able to leverage LinkedIn for an entire year. So if anybody is listening to this, if you're in your car driving, or if you're not in your car driving, keep driving. But if you can send a text message to 973-841-8868. That's 973-841-8868. Send the word bundle to 973-841-8868, and you're going to get a link to the bundle. And that will teach you the step-by-step process to use LinkedIn to generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue in your business. Listen, Trent, I didn't know how to do any of this stuff. I had no idea. I had to self-learn. I took courses, coaches, seminars, and books, and I had to learn everything. And now I don't even charge for the training. With this bundle, you don't pay a penny for my $10,000 program. So you just pay for the software, and you get $10,000 worth of training at no cost. Literally costs you nothing. 8868. Yeah, and that is being sent for bundle to 973-841-8868, and you will get the bundle. And that bundle will help you be able to get access to all of our trainings, all of our communities. We have posting parties twice a month where we network and comment on each other's posts. We have accountability every Tuesday at 5 p.m. where you get held accountable. We have frameworks, checklists, cheat sheets, scripts, template generators, profile optimizers, everything done for you. You speak it, it comes up with ideas. It writes the post for you. And then you post it in seconds. You start getting impressions, exposure, credibility, and meetings. I love doing this because I want to help people be able to book 1,000 meetings a year. That's 5 a day. It's not a lot of meetings. But if you had 5 meetings a day, you can accomplish anything. I love your rings, by the way. I love those rings. You got the bling going on. You got the cheese, you got the blings, you got it all. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. That's key. A lot of people have these massive egos. I believe that ego stands for etching God out. Etching God out. So many people have massive egos and you think you're important, but then you die and you take nothing with you. You take nothing with you. None of your wealth, none of your accolades, none of your LinkedIn recommendations are coming with you to the grave. Do you know how many LinkedIn recommendations I have on LinkedIn? Somebody said, "Oh, I have 100. I have a lot." I was like, "Dude, I have 500 written LinkedIn recommendations on my profile." Someone's like, I thought I had a lot. Then I looked at your profile and I had a freak attack because how'd you get 500?" By the way, I have 99 LinkedIn hacks that I teach. And every single one of those LinkedIn hacks, I don't think that people are going to be able to remember every single LinkedIn hack. But if you join our sessions, you're going to learn many of these hacks. And those hacks are powerful hacks because one of the hacks. I'll give you an example of a hack that I do. So we live like on a street that's it's called a place. So I asked ChatGPT. I was teaching my daughter how to drive. I said, why is some streets called a court, some streets called an avenue, why some streets called a highway, a freeway, a byway, a this? And so it basically explained every single thing to us. It happens to be a place is a place that's hard to get to. If the street is hard to get to, it's called place. So my street where I had my brownstone, it was called place. The name of the street and place. It was hard to get to. So it is really hard to get to. You got to go around and wait for 3 lights and get around and finally get into the street. So it's a very quiet street, very quaint street. In order for me to get into the street, the hack is not to go all the way around. The hack is to pull up at the corner and back into the street. That's my hack. That's the hack. And my kids love watching me. They stand in the front of the brownstone and they watch. Look, Dad's here. He's backing in. And I back in. They get in the car and we drive off. I'm there to do things faster, more strategically, to save time because I know the value of time. A lot of people don't value their time, but I value my time so much. Every moment that I have, I want it to be leveraged. And so using artificial intelligence, using an assistant to help you, I didn't know I had to be on this call because I don't have to think about the next call that I'm on because my WhatsApp's going to start blowing up as soon as it's the top of the hour with me having to get on the next thing. And I'm going to say, the 11 a.m. was canceled. We need to reschedule it, and I'll go longer with Trent if he can. And boom, I just told my assistant, stop bogging me, telling me that I have to get to my 11 a.m. because it was canceled and she doesn't know about it because it was canceled through my WhatsApp. But do you get what I'm saying? What I'm saying is my time is leveraged. I have people helping me, people reaching out. I have AI. My Twitter is updated every single day with my AI automatically. It comes up with a topic and it just automatically gets updated with my AI agent. I have an agent. Evie AI is not an agent. Evie AI is an assistant. But we are soon going to offer agents to people that they can pay a monthly fee to do things for them. That's part of our roadmap. So if you want an agent to make phone calls for you, you're going to be able to hire one. That's part of the roadmap. But for right now, we're just an assistant. And get an assistant. It's 50 cents a day. It's like literally doesn't cost any money. It's almost free. I would do it completely for free, but people that pay attention. So I don't want just people setting things up for the sake of setting things up. I want people to value the things. And so pay a little bit of money. I'll give you $10,000 worth of training in addition to this as a bonus. But just get an assistant, get the support, get the technology, show me that you're serious, pay for LinkedIn. I'm a big fan, I'm a big proponent. Go pay for LinkedIn because people that pay attention. So it's actually not an acronym for something. When I started my business, Ajax Union, I knew I had to hire employees. And so I went on this website called Craigslist. Do you know what Craigslist is? The Craigslist killers. Anyway, so I went on Craigslist. It was very, very popular. That's where you would find employees. They had a job thing. So I went there, I posted a job ad, and I got a bunch of these weirdos responding to me, and I didn't really want anyone to whatever. And I didn't want to have any bad experiences. I didn't have a lot of money to spend on employees. So I finally found this one guy who seemed to be like a total whiz. And I had a conversation with him, and I'm like, oh, hell yeah, this guy's got to work. His name was Evie. And he was so good. He was so good. He knew video editing, he knew script writing, he knew PPC management, he knew SEO. He was a writer, he was a graphic designer, he was an illustrator, he was a sales guy. He was literally everything you could ever imagine in an employee. He was magic. And I loved him so much. And I was so happy for him when he left, when he started his own business. And I said, one day I'm going to clone you. One day I'm going to create something that's like you. And I had a dream of cloning Evie. Eventually, AI came out, and I was like, you know what? What are we going to name it? Also, the name of our company, our other company is called Evergreen, EVYRGREEN. So it's Evie, the same beginning of the name, Evergreen, but it's Evie. And so now I'm offering all of the Evergreen networking system included in Evie AI Pro. When you pay for Evie AI Pro annual, you get the bundle. And so that's the bundle. So if you go to eviai.com/bundle, or you send the word bundle to 973-841-8868, you can grab the bundle. And a bundle is also abundance. I love abundance. I'm a big fan of so many people have this scarcity mindset. By the way, do you guys love abundance or do you love scarcity? Let me know. I love abundance, and I believe that you can be the conduit of blessing to other people if you are a big fan of abundance. That means knowing that there's more than enough for everybody. And I think that AI agents and AI robots and automation will help us be able to create that abundance, because I'm going to hire these physical robots that are going to clean my house and clean all of my neighbors' houses. They're going to drive the cars and they're going to do everything. And the people who decide to invest in them and learn how to leverage them are the people that are going to be able to lease it out to other people, because I'm going to be a robot expert. I already am an AI person that trains people all the time through the AI circle on how to use AI. And I'm by far not an expert at that. But every single day that I dig into it more and I learn and I play with it, and you guys watch me, I went on LinkedIn Live 200 times to learn how to properly leverage LinkedIn. And so I'm obsessed with it. I'm building relationships every single day. I'm using it every single day myself, and I'm teaching people how to do it in a way that will help them be able to make more money. So if you're looking for more conversations, if you're looking for more clients, get the bundle, because I'll teach you how to have 1,000 conversations a year using AI as your assistant, not your automation. It is moving. It's moving so fast. And someone said, Joe, why are you building a heavy AI? If it's moving so fast, you're going to be obsolete in no time. I said, I am evolving with every single move. I'm building a group. I have 19,000 people from 37 different countries around the world that are in my ecosystem that have tried heavy AI at one point in time. When the latest and greatest thing comes out, I already have a captive audience of people that know me, like me, and trust me, that are paying for me, that are going to use my services with the whole new thing that I'm doing within AI. I am digging my nails in from the second that it's alive. Just like, some people have missed the Bitcoin the Bitcoin revolution when Bitcoin just came out, like back in the day when Bitcoin came out and people were regretting they didn't pay 40 cents for a Bitcoin when it's worth 100,000 now, or maybe 90,000 now because it went down. But the idea is that me being in the game, me looking at the stuff, that's where the money is. The money is being in the game and not worrying about, oh, it's going to change in 2 years, and so I'm not going to try. I'm swinging for the fences. We don't know what's going to happen. It could be that we're all just going to implode and die, and someone's going to pull the plug from the simulation that we're in, and then we'll all disappear. And it won't be war. But until we disappear, every moment. What? 100%. The plug is going to be pulled. So in the meantime, let's just do good for other people. Let's make a difference for other people. Let's find ways to support each other. And let's find technologies that'll make it easier, faster, more efficient, more effective, so that we can spend the time being present with other people in podcasts like this, connecting with other people, sharing our voice. I'm on a mission to help 1 million people share their voice online. And if I can help you share your voice with the help of AI, it can make all the difference. If you're feeling down right now, if you're feeling like right now it's one of the worst times of your life and you don't have the results, you don't have the money, you don't have the health, you don't have the relationship, you don't have the spirituality, you don't have what it takes, and you are feeling down, realize that where you are right now is exactly where you need to be to create the next thing. Sometimes we need to go down in order to go up. That's how the stocks work. That's how life works. That's how humans work. The lower you go, the higher you can spring. The lower you crouch, the more you can jump. I want you to realize this in a deep, deep place in your soul, that where you are right now is exactly where you need to be to get to the next level. And I want you to understand that what you do right now is what's going to define the next year, 2 years, 10 years. The seeds that you plant today will be the orchards that you will reap from in 10, 20, 20, 30, 40 years from now. Overnight success is 10 years in the making, not 15 minutes of faking. It's not waking and baking. It's not taking and taking. It's giving. So there are leading indicators and there are lagging indicators. If you're feeling down, you're focused on the lagging indicators because you cannot change them. You're out of control. You're in victim mode. I can't do anything right now. I'm stuck. Instead of saying, why does this always happen to me? Instead of asking yourself disempowering questions, flip the script and ask yourself empowering questions like, what's great about this? What can I do now? What are the leading indicators that I can tap into? What are the actions that I can take? If you look at yourself and you're overweight, go for a walk. Take the first step. If you don't have money, make a phone call and help other people make money. The more money you make for other people, the more money you will make as a result. If you don't have the relationship that you want to have, love yourself more. How have you been showing yourself love? How have you been loving others? If you don't have, don't wait for it to come from the outside. Create it from the inside. Create it right now. And you are a creator. You have the spirit of God within you, the spirit of creativity, the spirit of imagination. Just because it hasn't happened for you yet doesn't mean it won't happen. If you can imagine it, if you can conceive it, if you believe it, then you can achieve it. Napoleon Hill said this in his book, Think and Grow Rich. I'm a big fan of that book. Highly recommend it. But do the personal development. Work hard. Take the daily actions. Actions create results, not complaints, not excuses, not feeling sorry for yourself. If you want to be a winner, stop whining and start doing. Start creating. Start being the person that you need to be in order for you to do all the things that you need to do, in order for you to have all the things that you need to have. Some people think, oh, if only I had it, I would do it and I would be it. I would become it. Wrong. You first become. You become obsessed with excellence. You become obsessed with action. You become obsessed with doing, even if your ego doesn't let. Even if you're afraid of the opinions of other people, because the opinions of other people are none of your business. Instead, lean into action. Lean into discomfort. When you're in the grave, you'll be comfortable. Lean into growth. The lobster has to go under a rock, get really uncomfortable in its shell, and it needs to come out of its shell. It needs to be vulnerable to grow another shell that's bigger so it can keep growing. Get out of your shell. Keep growing. Know that the pain and the discomfort of where you are right now will cleanse you, will help you grow. This is growth. Pain without a reason is suffering, but pain with a strong reason is purpose, is connection, is fuel. Do the push-ups. Push yourself. Let it burn, but don't get injured. Hire the coach. Read the book. Be careful. Rest. Forgive yourself. Be calm. Realize you don't have to take every action if you're not emotionally available to take action right now. Instead, maybe you need to recharge. And you know a thing or two about sports. And let me tell you, if you take a look at the top players in sports, they're not always taking action. They're not always executing. What they're doing is resting, 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 resting. Then they're practicing, 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 practicing. And then they execute for this amount of time. But they have the coaches. They have the support. They have the emotional conditioning that they need in order for them to win. They don't listen to the fans. If a player listened to the fans, they would go out of their mind because one day the fan's excited. The next day the fan is losing it. The next day the fan's throwing rock bottles at them and stuff. They are in the game. They are playing the game, and they are playing to play. They are playing to win, but they're playing to play. If you show up to win, you won because you showed up. 95% of winning is showing up to the game, being present. You cannot win if you don't show up, and if you're not taking action, you're not showing up. Most people are showing up and throwing up. I say show up and follow up. Be consistent, take action, and you will live the life that you want to live. Boom. Find that way, baby. Find a way. Winners find a way. Damn, son. Woo! Woo! Really? I want to know. Okay, so you had a lot of people on your podcast. Tell me what tell me how I am different than all the other people that you've had on your podcast. You've had so many people on your podcast. What did you love most about our connection and the light that I shed during this podcast? What did you love most? What did you love most about my delivery, my passion, my excitement? Like what made me a great guest for you? Yeah. 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 Powerful stuff. Yeah, totally. I love that. I love that. Well, thanks for all the kind words. I appreciate it. Okay. Whenever it is, it's in the calendar. Amazing. Awesome. Amazing. Amazing. Yeah, I'm happy to chat with him and see where we're at. I got to hop on another call now, but I appreciate chatting with you and okay. Amazing. Appreciate you so much. Thank you and we'll talk again soon. All right, bye. That was fun, ladies and gentlemen. I had such a good time. Now I got to find out where. Oh, here it is. Well, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you enjoyed it. And if you haven't gotten Evie AI yet, here it is, evieai.com.